Welcome to the course. In this lecture, we will be learning about predictive analytics, the main deviation that exists between prediction and classification, and what are the classification algorithms that tends to the development of predictive models such as regression analysis, SVM classifiers, decision trees, and ensemble models such as bagging and boosting.
Module 1 Predictive Analytics. The following are the session outcomes. This session describes the need for predictive analytics and its requirements, summarizes the various algorithms used in predictive analytics, describes the working functionality of linear regression algorithm with an illustrative example, discuss the applications of predictive analytics. Now let's explore what is predictive analytics. In the previous session, we have discussed about different types of analytics which supports in handling different formats of data. In predictive analytics, here the aim is to build an analytical model predicting a target measure of interest. Therefore, the target is then typically used to steer the learning process in an optimization procedure. In general, the forms of prediction and the algorithms that is deployed in developing predictive model can be of type, classification, and regression analysis. The target variable plays an important role in the learning process. It should be considered as an importance which is appropriately defined. Let's consider some of the examples. In a customer setting, the process of churn can be defined in different ways. Usually, churn implies the customer stops the relationship with the firm. At certain stages, when a customer easily detect the contractual setting, he may cancel the same and he may move from one place to another. At the stages of non-contractual setting, this is considered as less obvious and to be operationalized in a specialized way. Another example we can say, in fraud detection, the target fraud indicator is usually hard to determine because one can never be fully sure that a certain transaction or claim is considered to be a fraudulent one. For this case, typically, the decision will be made based on some legal judgment or a high suspicion by a business expert. So thus the term predictive analytics is considered to be supervised with the notion of target variable which is known in prior with the definition of the tuple of record. In addition, predictive analytics is highly integrated with statistical analysis while developing data models. Experts and research scientists validate the developed predictive model with some of the notable statistical measures in order to ensure the evidence of proof is correctly validated and verified. Thereby, we can present the developed model with the business experts through dashboards and reports that has been generated with respect to the predictive model and validation by statistical methods. The following are the algorithms that is explicitly used in different ways of different real-time applications for evaluating the development of a predictive model, such as linear regression, logistic regressions, support vector classifiers, neural network, decision trees, and finally ensemble methods such as boosting and bagging, which is explicitly used for improving the classification and prediction accuracies. Yes. So let's have a complete explanation and discussion with an illustrative example for the algorithmic technique on linear regression. This is one of the simplest regression which evaluates the straight line fitting model with the involvement of a response variable y and a single predictor variable x. It is considered to be the simplest form of regression, and here it models y as a linear function of x, which is represented in equation 1 as y is equal to b plus wx. Here the value of b and w or the regression coefficient. At certain stages, while evaluating models, the regression coefficient w and b can be considered to be as the weights, such as w0 and w1 respectively. For a general scenario, consider D be the training data set, which consists of values corresponding to predictor variable for some population and their associated values for response variable y. Generally, the training set contains the data points starting from x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, up to xn, yn. Then, the regression coefficient can be estimated using the following equation. W1 is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to d xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar divided by summation I is equal to 1 to d xi minus x bar the whole square. So with this equation, we can calculate the value of W1 for estimating the equation of straight line in regression analysis. So here x bar is the mean value of x1, x2, x3 up to xn, and similarly y bar is the mean value of y1, y2, y3 up to yn respectively. Consider the following example, which consists of x and y, where x represents the year of experience and y the salary in dollars. So with respect to the values of x1, x2, x3, the values of y1, y2, y3 up to yn has been represented accordingly. Now let us calculate and formulate the equation of straight line by plotting the same in a given axis. So here you can infer the data points of x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3 has been plotted in a simplistic way of representation. So in order to estimate whether the data points that falls and fits in the equation of straight line analysis, and here we can ensure that the data points, that is maximum of a data point values, lies in the straight line, which estimates the equation for straight line analysis. Next, we have to calculate the value of mean corresponding to x and y. So with the given data, the value of x, that is mean value of x, is found to be 7.77 and the mean value of y is found to be 752.5. Upon substituting the values in equation 1 and 3, we get the values of W0 to be 10.00 and the value of W1 to be 95.47 respectively. So now represent the same in the equation of straight line, which is y is equal to W0 plus W1 into x, and here I am substituting the value here, y is equal to 10.00 plus 95.47 into x. So here x is the value in which I can determine and I can predict with respect to the salary of an employee if the years of experience is known. So consider here, if I am having the value of experience of an employee, say 13 years, we can predict the same by substituting the value of x in the above equation, which correspondingly gives y is equal to $1224.11. Like this, we can predict and estimate the unknown values, correspondingly the predictor value of the variable x, which can be determined significantly. Apart from some other regression models, there are ridge regression, lasso regression, time series model, multivariate adaptive regression, and spline-based modeling regression analysis. So these type of regressions can be used for evaluating predictive models for real-time applications. Reflection spot. What are the two types of data elements that has to be considered for predictive analytics? The answer is, there are two types of data elements. One is of type categorical and another is of type continuous. While considering categorical data, we may classify into nominal, ordinal, and binary valued data. The next is the metrics that is specifically used in predictive analytics. First, let us see accuracy. So, if we use entire data set for training the model, then the observed result will be optimistic in nature. So, in order to overcome this problem, we validate the model by fitting the model and testing it with test data tuples. So, the label concerned with each of the tuples in a test data is compared with the learned classifier against the tuple for predicting the nature of the model and to estimate the performance. So, in order to do this, first we will estimate it using the accuracy, which is given as true positives plus true negatives to that of true positives plus true negatives plus false positives plus false negatives. You can notice in the table, that is the performance of the classifier with respect to actual class labels to that of the predicted class labels. So, with this confusion matrix, we will estimating how many tuples of records are correctly classified by the classifier. The next matrix is error. So, here the error of a model is defined as the total number of incorrectly classified instances or tuples of record to that of the total number of records present in the model. And the next is weighted mean recall and weighted mean precision. In general, we use F-score, which is one of the statistical measure which is used to test accuracy, which considers both precision and recall to determine the estimated score value. So, here the value of P, that is precision, determines the fraction of retrieved instances that are relevant, which is given as true positive to that of true positive plus false positive, and recall, which determines the fraction of relevant instances that are being retrieved. So, which is given by the formula recall is equal to true positives to that of true positives plus false negatives. Similarly, the F-score is then calculated as a weighted average of the values corresponding to precision and recall. And finally, the applications of predictive analytics. So, predictive analytics is majorly deployed in different types of applications, which is used in a real-time perspective. For example, in customer attrition setting, in fraud detection, in credit scoring, and customer lifetime value estimation models and recommender systems. So, these are the major types of applications in which predictive analytics is deployed to a wide extent. So, each of this application is integrated with the application that is concerned with the real-time data processing environments in order to manipulate the interpretation and evaluation of the predicted models. As a user, we can develop our own estimated predicted model which can be deployed with respect to the application in which we are concerned with. So, here comes the reference. Bart Besson's Analytics in a Big Data World, The Essential Guide to Data Science and Its Applications, Wiley, 1st edition, 2014.
Upon summarizing this lecture, we have learned about the different types of classification algorithms that tends to the development of the predictive model, and we have seen how a regression model is built with the help of data analysis platform, and we have explicitly discussed about the process that exists behind the decision tree algorithm with an example application. Thank you.